listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255, the New Orleans Talk Network. Listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255, the New Orleans Talk Network.
Hi, I'm Sheriff Joe Lapinto, and you are watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
This is Congressman Cedric Richmond, and you're watching the New Orleans Talk Network.
This is Bishop Samuel Blakes, and you're listening to Real Talk with Mary J.
Happy Mary Monday. You tune in to Real Talk with Mary J. all the way from New Orleans, NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. I am your host, Mary J. Thank you to all of my listening audience that are sharing with us all around the world. I hope you're having a happy Merry Monday today. We are having a happy Merry Monday. We're live in the studio today. We're talking about from tragedy to triumph. Tragedy to triumph. And I have this beautiful, amazing woman of God sharing with us in the studio on today. And she's going to tell you who she is and all of what she does. She does so much. She has a bio that I tell you that is so impressive. I want to welcome on the show today Riva Lavoie. Let's thank God for Riva Lavoie sharing with us on this morning. Riva, why don't you tell the people who you are and what you do?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me on the show first and foremost. A little bit of quick background of myself. Raised in a lot of dysfunction, a lot of setbacks and hindrances. Really didn't know my purpose at a young age, but I thank God for the opportunity that as each tragedy took place in my life that I was able to triumph because of the grace of God, as well as, of course, definitely needing to make sure I kept my fight and my faith. And of course, we already know that faith is just about an impossible situation becoming possible. You believing in that thing that you can't see.
Right.
So I am grateful for that. I come back. My background. I come from a mother who is blonde-haired, blue eyes. Father that's African American and unknown. However, growing up, I did not have any family due to my mother being, of course, Caucasian. So that was, they were extremely racist against African Americans. So it was just my mother and I and her trying to find love. And in the midst of her trying to find love, she wasn't able to really love me probably the way that I needed. So I ended up having to, of course, find myself in my own way that we go about until we find God and allow God to take over. And from there, there has just been challenge after challenge, but there's been an opportunity to triumph over and over again, and an opportunity to go from surviving to overcoming. So I am forever grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah, and I am so grateful for you to share your story on today. From tragedy to triumph, I was able to view your story. Such an amazing, amazing woman of God, to go from all of the brokenness from where God has brought you from to where he's brought you to.
Yes.
Okay. I understand that you are, am I right, a native of Hawaii? Honolulu, Hawaii?
Raised, yes, ma'am.
Raised there. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And so what brought you here to New Orleans?
I was raised in Hawaii from 9 years old until I was 22 years old. I was born here, not knowing that this is, where I, would return.
Okay.
My mother, of course, was living in New Orleans, but after I think about 10 or 11 months old, she moved back to Toledo, Ohio, where she's from. And after living in Toledo, Ohio for 9 years until I was 9 years old, the man that I thought was my father, he abused us, my mother as well as myself, tremendously. He would beat us. He was an ex-boxer, and so I remember many times blacking out. Of course, even times waking up to hearing my mother being beaten, and she, being bloody. So my mother finally made a commitment that she says, if Mom, of course, leaves for a while and you don't know where she is, don't worry, I'll come back. And my mom was an exotic dancer. She had been stationed to do some dancing in Hawaii.
Okay.
And so she figured that this time when we left, that if we went all the way to Hawaii, and of course he never flew a plane, didn't want to fly a plane,
Yes.
that this time that when we ran away that it would be for good.
Right.
And it did work. And so we started our lives over
Great.
in Hawaii. And I stayed in Hawaii until 22 years old after I graduated with my associate's degree in Hawaii. And I know I wanted more from my life. I wanted to help people. I wanted to do counseling. And I just felt like Hawaii was my comfort zone.
Yes.
And literally, I needed to leave paradise to go where the challenges would be and where I could be most effective. But I wanted to go to Georgia or somewhere like that. But I don't know how spiritual everyone is, but I definitely believe in God and know that He will lead and guide you
That's
if you
right.
just open up your spirit
That's
to
right.
receive.
Absolutely.
And so I went to sleep one night thinking I'm, preparing for Georgia and everything, and I literally heard a whisper say New Orleans.
Wow.
And I sat up in my bed and I was like, oh my goodness, what just happened? And I brushed it off because my mother had moved to New Orleans back there, and so I definitely didn't want to go where she was
Exactly.
because I didn't want to go. My mother and I's relationship was very dysfunctional at this time. So I didn't want to go somewhere because someone else lived there.
Right.
And then if the relationship didn't, of course, go as as planned,
Right.
now I'm stuck in a place that I wasn't supposed to be. So I ignored the situation. Sure enough, eating a bowl of cereal at 22 years old, and a Mardi Gras commercial comes on the TV in Hawaii that you need to take a vacation to New Orleans.
Wow, isn't that God?
Yes, he set that up. And then the second, he likes to do threes. Second confirmation, I was flirting. I was only 22 years old, so I'm flirting with the guy in the military at the mall. And I asked where he was from. And he said he was from New Orleans. And I was like, okay. Then I go to church that Sunday. All this happened in a week. And the individuals that joined our church, the whole family was from New Orleans.
Wow.
And
And
so-
were they in Hawaii?
Yes, ma'am.
And they were from
all
New
three.
Orleans?
Yes.
And they joined out
yes,
there?
joined our church in Hawaii.
Wow.
So that day I surrendered.
Wow.
And so I gave away all my things and packed up on my bags, and with the student loan check that I had, actually it was a scholarship as well as a student loan that was, of course, going to be in the account. I just stepped on faith and got on a plane and moved to New Orleans
Isn't that wonderful?
and didn't know anything about it.
Isn't that wonderful? The people that joined your church probably were my cousins because
You
I
never
have
know.
cousins from New Orleans that live in Honolulu, Hawaii.
never know. Yeah.
And they're in ministry right now out there. You never know.
Very good, yeah.
So that is such a powerful story, especially not wanting to come back, which you have already escaped because you said that you all were here and you went back to Hawaii to get away from New Orleans for God to send you right back here.
Yes.
That is so like God, you know,
Send you
because
back.
that's right, a lot of times the places that we have come out of, the trenches that we have gone through, He would send us right back there to be a witness and a testament, and to all of the people that knew where we once were there, look at who we are now
That's
today.
correct.
That's
Yes.
God. That is so God.
Yes.
So you talk about your degrees, and I see that you have studied abroad. You
Yeah.
know, let's talk about your education because I'm amazed at your story. When did you actually become confined to the wheelchair?
At 16 years
That's
old.
what I thought.
Yeah.
So at 16 years old, coming out of brokenness, going through those battles, and on an escape, returning to right where God has brought you from to bring you back here. At 16 years old, you were able to study abroad, get a degree, start your own business. That's amazing. So let's talk about that.
Well, actually, I don't want it to seem like it was easy.
I know it
Yeah.
wasn't. I know it was not.
I definitely
It
don't
could-
want it to
There are
seem
people
that it's
right
easy.
now. Let me tell you this before I go into to your story. I broke my foot, and you don't know this because I never shared this with you. I broke my left foot in 2 places back in April. I had been trying to recover. I'm still in physical therapy. I have on cute heels now because I'm sitting down. I can't walk for it, with these heels on. But I saw your story when I was scrolling through Facebook. My mom wanted to get me a wheelchair because on the crutches bruised my underarm so badly. It was just a mess, And my mom said, "Well, I can give you a wheelchair." And I was like, "No, Mom, I don't want to just be in the wheelchair. I want to be able to walk, right?" And I'm in this wheelchair because moms, you know how moms are when they think they know what's best for, she brought it anyway. And I thought it would be too awkward in my space where I wouldn't be able to get around, so she brought it. And I'm telling you, I'm rolling to the refrigerator in the wheelchair, right? And I'm putting everything on my lap because I'm home by myself, right? So if I have to eat, and I couldn't stand up on my leg to cook or anything, I'm home by myself, so I get everything out of the fridge, I put it on my lap, bring it to the counter, I fix it, and I bring it, roll it back to my little space. And I just camped out there for a while, right?
Yes.
I gained about 15 pounds during this process. And then I saw your story.
Wow.
I saw your story. And I said, oh my God, look at this anointed woman of God who is in a wheelchair, who is using her wheelchair as a forklift, can stack up chairs, has gone through so much, has gotten a degree, and still fighting and still standing and still just sharing her story. That alone shook me.
Wow.
That alone shook me. I was like, girl, Mary J., if you don't get your butt up out of this chair and start doing what you've been doing and living life like you've been living it, and life doesn't stop, right?
It doesn't.
But your story encouraged me. It empowered me, and I know you didn't know that, right?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
no, that's awesome.
I was there like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And here you are just doing it all.
Yeah.
Running circles around people with 2 feet, with both legs and your 2 feet. Yes. So let's talk about, how did you end up here in the wheelchair at 16 years old?
Well, let me make sure I just state to everyone that it's been 25 years to date. So I've been in the chair for 25 years, since October 16th of 1993. Wow. And I was living with friends at the time because, again, as I had mentioned, I didn't have the best relationship with my mother, and she did the best that she could, but due to her background, she was extremely abused and just being, of course, rejected and disowned, and further disowned when she had an African-American child. Wow. It, of course, put a major damper on our relationship and just caused a lot more rejection. And while staying with friends, there was still something in me. I knew there was still something different for me in life. I knew that I needed to make better choices, and I knew my only way out of the life that I had was going to be my legs. It was through my legs. And I had just started a modeling career. I was already being looked at by scouts for basketball. I love basketball. I love lifting weights. I ran every day after school. I was on the weightlifting team with the football, with the football team rather. And I also swam as often as possible. So my legs were my everything. And my friends, we just was teenagers. And only reason why I didn't do it because I was too scared. They actually, of course, had, marijuana and some alcohol. And we went to a beach party. I could be the life of the party without it. So bottom line is, the driver fell asleep at the wheel. We were in a pickup truck. And that was very popular in Hawaii, to ride in the back of pickup trucks. And so myself and my best friend at the time, we were laying in the open bed of the pickup truck, sleeping. I was kind of in and out. And so the driver, she went off the side of the road, fell asleep at the wheel, and she actually went full speed ahead into a telephone pole. And so when she hit that telephone pole, myself and my best friend, our bodies flew up in the air, and when gravity was bringing our bodies back down, the impact crushed our spine. The bed of the truck came up because it hit the pole, and the back lifted up. Wow. And so the impact split our spines completely in half, paralyzing us both. And been confined to a chair ever since. And in the beginning, I thought it was something that I could conquer like I had conquered everything else. And I will admit, I was done. I was supposed to be in rehab for 6 weeks. I was done in the 3rd week. I was doing wheelies. The nurses were getting mad because I kept taking my wheelie bars off so I could do my wheelies, and rolling up and down the the halls of the rehab. And they already had me doing outpatient stuff. I was transferring in pickup trucks.
Yeah,
But the reason why the difference was, and the other young lady, my best friend at the time, she wasn't doing so well, and that's just because of the background. So that's where tragedy really can be a great triumph, is because she had both of her parents, which should not be, an issue, but in this particular situation, it could possibly. And that is because for me, because I had challenge after challenge, and I had become a young person that had to learn how to survive and automatically instantly go into survival mode.
Yes.
I went into survival mode and I embraced it head on, that I got to conquer this. And so when I moved back home with my mother, because she kept begging while I was in rehab, let's work this out. Let's try to make this happen. Moved back home to my mom's house, and it was extremely bad. Every time she saw the wheelchair, she, of course, felt like it was her fault because I wasn't living with her, and I really did not blame it on her. It was my choice that night. And to this day, I take responsibility for that. I chose to ride in the bed of that truck. That was the friends that I chose. And so that was the consequences that, of course, I have to pay. But thank God that not some things, but all things work together for the good of those that love the Lord. And so my mother and I's relationship went really bad, to the point where she had to kick me out. And she just had a difficult time accepting it. And so now I'm 17 years old, and I'm now living in a homeless shelter with other teenage girls with this whole new lifestyle. The house was not wheelchair accessible. There was curbs that I had to bounce down, and steps. And at that time, I still was catheterizing myself, because when you get paralyzed and confined to a chair, it's not just cute and just sitting down. There's a whole lot of other things behind the scenes that take place. And I kept falling in the bathtub because I didn't have a bath chair at the shelter that I was staying at. And they would ask me over an hour later, are you sure you're okay in there? And I just keep falling in the tub and trying to cry quietly because I couldn't figure it out. And I didn't know how to catheterize myself, but only in the bed. So I had to learn all these new ways of living, and I didn't understand why God was allowing this, but it was a setup. It was, because later on down the road, I would move to New Orleans, which is the most un-wheelchair accessible city in the entire United States. So not knowing that God was ordering my steps to be, victorious later, and what it looked like was for destruction, and what looked like was meant to keep me down was being used to develop me for this moment in time, to even be talking to all of you out there.
Yes. God is amazing.
Yes.
Truly amazing. Your story is phenomenal, Riva. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. And I know you're going to empower somebody right where they are all over the world. You empowered me right here in New Orleans by Facebook. When I saw your story, I said, God, look at this amazing, phenomenal vessel that you're using for your glory. So God is going to continue to use you. We're getting ready to go into commercial break. Listen, you guys, you tuned in to Real Talk with Mary J. on New Orleans Talk Network. I am here with the powerful, anointed, and beautiful, I must say,
thank you,
Riva Lavoie, sharing with us in the studio today. I do have a raffle that I also need to share with you guys for Alex. Alex Williams has a raffle. He has ran for Mr. Butillion at Warren Easton High School, and we're going to do that raffle on today's show right after this commercial break, so we want you to stay there. Don't go anywhere. This show is getting ready to get even more powerful with Riva. We'll be right back after this commercial break. This is powerful.
Here at Jones Insurance, your full-service agency, let us take care of all your insurance needs. We provide homeowners insurance, flood, rental, commercial, auto, and life insurance. Don't let the unexpected tragedy destroy your family's future. Here at Jones Insurance, 7603 West Bank Expressway, Monroe, Louisiana, 772. Contact Lois at 504-348-1492.
Hi, I'm Prophetess Charlene Duforce,
And I'm Bishop Carol Duforce Sr.
and we're from Living Witnesses Ministries.
And we also have a program on the internet called Living by the Word Daily. And we're seen every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon Central Time on the New Orleans Talk Network.
And we would like to invite you to tune in with us every Wednesday morning, again, 11 to 12 noon Central Daylight Time. Please join us as we teach the Word of God. Thank you, and God bless.
God bless you.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Hello, you guys. You tuned in to Real Talk with Mary J, and we're back from our commercial break. We're talking about from tragedy to triumph with the lovely, anointed Riva LaVoy on today, sharing her phenomenal story. But listen, I told you before we went into commercial break, we have a raffle here, and this is going to be the first of that drawing of that raffle. This is from Alex Williams. He's was running for Mr. Battalion at Warren Easton High School. So we're getting ready to raffle off the third winner. Those of you that are watching, okay, I hope you're watching. If you bought one of his tickets to support this fundraiser, the third prize winner, you would receive a New Orleans Saint Memory Foam seat cushion. New Orleans Saint Memory Foam seat cushion. So this is the raffle for that first one, and we're gonna let Riva pick it. Well, all right. let me get my glasses out of here. Okay. See who our third place winner is.
Trying to move it around. All right, it is Beatrice Thomas.
Beatrice Thomas. Beatrice Thomas. Okay, well, congratulations. You are the third place winner for this New Orleans Saint Memory Cushion. Stay tuned for Real Talk with Mary J. We're going to have the second place winner coming up next after our next commercial break. But we're talking about triumph to tragedy, from triumph to tragedy, with this amazing woman of God, Riva LaVoy, that is sharing her story on today. And I just was telling her how blessed I was just to see how God is using you mightily, doing the work of the Lord as well, getting your degrees, and being in this chair at 16 years old, and you haven't stopped at all. You haven't stopped at all. So let's talk about your degrees in the schools that I see that you've gone to UNO. Mm-hmm. What did you study at UNO?
UNO, I actually got my bachelor's of science in psychology.
Wow.
Counseling and helping people and wanting to better understand why people do the things that they do. And just knowing that when someone does something, as painful as it may be to someone else, there's usually a reason behind it. There's usually deep pain. There's usually rejection or something they've been through that has caused them to have that type of attitude or to make those type of decisions and choices in their lives. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to better understand individuals and why they do the things that they do. And so I really, really enjoyed, studying at Leeward Community College, which is in Hawaii, mm-hmm. As well as, of course, UNO, getting my Bachelor's of Science, and then even furthering my education at Strayer University. Yes. And even going into Christian counseling at Beacon Light. Yeah. Baptist, they had Beacon Light had a theological seminary where we got we got an opportunity to take some Christian counseling courses and Of course, classes, even with in ministry, because later, of course, I began the process of training with Minister Alliance at Beacon Light, and then even furthering it later through a couple other churches. So it has been a blessing, every place that I've been. And then, of course, even going through various training through the corporate America in Atlanta, Georgia. That was after Hurricane Katrina. Most of us, of course, evacuated to Texas. Well, we went the opposite way. We went to Georgia. So, of course, there was a lot of training there, too. But every place that I studied, no matter where it was, there was extreme warfare. It was not easy. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I am the smartest, brightest child or woman out there. But as a child growing up, I guess because of so much dysfunction in the home, I was in special ed, in my reading, which is my best subject, and was even struggling in math. And then later on at UNO, I repeated trigonometry 2 or 3 times, and biology definitely 3 times.
And never gave up.
No. And some of the setbacks, some of it was my fault. But some of it, of course, was certain situations the enemy wanted me to stop, because my mother never made it past 9th grade. The guy that I thought was my father, he could barely read and write. As a young girl, I read the street signs to him. I read the mail, and I forged the welfare checks when my mom was on the road, and paid the bills and all that at 9 years old. And reading the back of TV dinners and the laundry box, and taking care of the house when mom wasn't there, there was a lot that I had to take on at an early age. But yes, in college, I was going, it was my midterms. I was going to take my last midterm and then head to the Beacon Light Theological Seminary they had on Paris. So I'm rolling from UNO. I didn't have a car. So all my rolling and transportation was in my wheelchair, or I'd catch maybe 1 or 2 buses, and then I rolled down the neighborhoods. A lot of people remember my face from years ago because I rolled everywhere. And so everybody remembers this lady in the wheelchair always rolling down the streets for miles, because sometimes it took longer to wait for a bus than just take off rolling. Well, I was in the crosswalk, just finished a midterm, and someone was on their phone. And she was looking straight through me, and she hit me straight on in the crosswalk. And when I asked my professor, is there any way that I could make up the lab for biology, he said, no, I told you there is no making up.
Wow.
And one of the times for trigonometry, I was late because the RTA bus passed me up because they didn't want to have to put the wheelchair on the bus. And I was late, and I said, no excuses. And so she gave me a 0 for the day, and I already wasn't doing well in her class. She said, you might as well go ahead and drop because you're going to fail. So there was many, many setbacks.
Yes.
So after getting hit by the car in the crosswalk on my way to trying to take my midterm for the Beacon Light Theological Seminary, they eventually let me know at UNO that my financial aid was over. There was no more financial aid because I had repeated those 2 classes so many times it was over. And I was devastated once again, like, why? I'm trying to live the right life. I'm trying to do everything, to the best of my ability. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to be faithful and do your will. And then sure enough, right after that, Hurricane Katrina. And so when we were in Georgia, I didn't know what to do, and the friends that I left with, they wasn't for sure if we were going to stick together. Financially, it was a struggle for all of us, and so I tried to commit suicide again. That was my 3rd and last attempt while I was in Georgia after Hurricane Katrina, because I just didn't understand anymore. And something happened in that hospital. I definitely was forced to stay there for quite a few days until I got myself together, and I surrendered to God. And I said I wanted to try again. And again, that was my 3rd attempt after being homeless in the shelter after the wheelchair. That was my 2nd biggest attempt. No, actually, that was my first time fully giving up. And then there was an attempt after that at home in New Orleans. So there's been 3 suicide attempts. So I don't want it, but it'll never happen again, because my mindset in God, if I just have to wait on him, even if I don't have any more strength in me, I believe that God gives us people for our life, and they'll pray you through, and they'll hold you even when you don't want to be kept. God will keep you even when you don't want to be kept. But that 3rd attempt that happened After Hurricane Katrina, I surrendered. And sure enough, I found out that they had funding and were assisting people that may have been in school, that they would pay for them to finish up their degree and take their remaining classes. And because the people there had in heart the trigonometry professor, he worked with me every day, and I graduated with no problem, with flying colors. And I am grateful today that I'm a living testament that after 7 years, I got my bachelor's and was able to move on to getting, going forward with pursuing my master's at Strayer University.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I mean, to go through that journey and to not quit, not to give up, even when you wanted to, you couldn't, because the hand of God was already on your life. He was already working these things out together for your good. But God touched the heart of another professor that walked you through and worked with you till you got what you knew you needed to get.
Yes.
That's powerful. That is a wonderful story. And I tell you, all of what you're doing now, you've gone from being in the wheelchair at 16 years old, going through all of that brokenness, dealing with all of that setback of your past, the rejection, the betrayal, the everything that you have gotten to this point, and you're still standing. And now you have your own business.
Yes.
Manifested Miracles.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Manifested Miracles, there is the nonprofit side as well as the for-profit side. The nonprofit is to help women, single moms, battered women, women that have substance abuse issues, and most women that have been abused, single moms, a lot of times they go to some type of substance abuse just to try to cope, whether it be alcoholism, pills, whether it be, major drugs. So it gave us an opportunity back in 2011 to start up from my first car accident that, of course, confined me to the chair. I was able to be compensated 18 years later. And so with those funds, I had promised God that if he ever blessed me, that I promised him that I would help as many people as I could. And I made sure to keep that vow. And so in 2011, we did establish a building, myself and a woman of God that I consider like a spiritual mother, and that's Renata Berrier. She joined in with me and was fully committed and faithful and right by my side to start this. And this was something that she had a passion for as well. So Renata Berrier and myself, a lot of sleepless nights almost, but we got started and we did it faithfully for 5 years, really 6 years to be honest, because we were doing it even before we got started with the building, before the building was fully renovated. We were still already helping so many people. People were living with me and everything else in my home. So for 6 years, we took in probably close to 100 women in 6 years. And I thank God for every woman that we were able to plant seeds in their lives and even water seeds, whether they were there with us for just a few days, a few weeks, a few months. But we had at least, if I'm not mistaken, almost 30 graduates to graduate from our program, a 7-month live-in program. Wow. And so we're very grateful. Right now, the ministry of the live-in portion has been on hold for 2 years. However, there is so much that is still taking place in the community through Manifested Miracles, the nonprofit. We still, of course, are doing catering, and we have Miracles to Go that is ran through the nonprofit. We also have so many ways that we still collect clothing. We help out our neighbors and the community and those that may be in need. We still, of course, counsel individuals when needed. We assist so many. We're giving them little odd jobs, here and there, giving them an opportunity, trying to encourage them to go to church, trying to help them in their various situations, and a lot of them with mental health, just their mindset, the devil trying to keep them bound, and substance abuse. So we're still doing a lot in the community, even though the live-in portion has been on hold, and that's just because of funding. We wasn't able to get the funding that we would have desired to get. Majority of it came through my own finances, and once I got to a place where financially it had depleted pretty much everything, I knew that I needed to just stop for a moment and try to get my life back on track so I could be effective. I was going through some health situations very similar to what you said about your leg. I had a minor fall, but you would have thought was a minor fall. I fell trying to transfer into the bathtub. and I snapped both the legs in my right leg in half because my bones are very frail. And it was painful, but not enough for me to think that I had did the damage that I had did. And I went to go teach class and everything.
After that?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. And so I went to class, and I kept rubbing my leg in class, and because I kept having spasms.
Yes.
And it felt warm, and I touched it, and it was huge. It had filled up my jeans, and I knew something was wrong. And come to find out, I needed to get metal rod on the outside, and then later a metal plate to hold it in place, and pins. And I guess as, you know, being older and going through so much, it took a toll on me health-wise.
Yes.
And so I had to do a timeout on just everything and try to regroup.
I understand.
And get myself together and get my mindset.
Yes.
But I didn't quit.
That's
I
right.
didn't have a thought in my mind that I wanted to hurt myself or nothing like that. That was done. That was over with. But I knew that I couldn't go anymore. But I trusted that God and the people that he had for my life, that they would pray me through. And they'd keep me even when I couldn't pray for myself.
That's
and
right.
sure
That
enough,
is so important.
I am stronger and more positive and motivated, and literally take a fall and get right back up. So yes, now on the for-profit side of Manifested Miracles, I do have 4 small businesses that are ran in that same building. We have a hair salon that the owner of the hair salon is actually Renata's daughter. That's Pure Beauty, and she has a couple of booth rentals. So there's other ladies in there that, you know, do their own thing and do a wonderful job. And then we have Miracles to Go that's ran by her niece, Treya. So we definitely thank God for them. They do an exceptional job. And then we have a barber shop. Miss Rhonda, she does her own thing, and the nail tech that's in there, Anisha, and then we even have some office space, and just grateful for all that.
Wonderful.
And then now what I run for myself, trying to build up revenue again, because I am believing I'm going to have an opportunity to not only have the women's program, but even transitional housing, so where they can transition. So I do want to buy more property. I want to flip some houses. So right now I'm just trying to get those funds back and get my life back in order. So we have Miracles Event Hall. So definitely we do all kinds of events there. That's right next door. And then we have a large parking lot that we rent out as well. We're right next to the Popeyes on the corner of Gentilly.
I know exactly where you are. Yes.
And Paris Avenue.
Yes.
So you can support us, get some awesome wings that Treya is known for. Go get your hair done. Go to the barber. All kinds of great stuff.
Wonderful.
Come do an event with us. We'd love to baby shower, wedding, whatever you want. We'd love to assist
right.
you.
I actually went to an event there. Beautiful, beautiful space, you guys. Great food. The catering there was just, I like to eat. You're right. Good food, beautiful space. So we're talking about from tragedy to triumph. Do you hear this story? Are you really listening? I mean, I hear you say that you used all of your funds after an accident that you were paid off to start this business, and God is working all of these things out. Yes, we're going to help you get some more funds. So those of you that would like to give, to just donate to Riva Lavoie, Riva, tell them how they can reach you. How can they give to you? Do you have a Cash App or anything?
Well, no, there is. I do have a Cash App, but I would prefer, I really would love the support towards the nonprofit. So you can actually go to our website, and you can, of course, donate through there. There is a donation tab, and the website is Manifested. That's past tense because it's already happened.
That's right.
Manifested Miracles with the S on the end, because there's many miracles.com. Manifestedmiracles.com. We'd love for you to donate, but then again, please still support our various ways. And as you mentioned, because I did forget about that, I stated to you about the catering, but Renata Berrier, she does the catering, and she does catering not only just through our events, which is the main way, but she will do catering for you individually, even through the holidays. If you want something for Thanksgiving, she'll hook you up. Christmas, he's actually pulling up the link right now, manifestedmiracles.com. So please visit there. There is a tab for you to donate. And if you want to donate clothing, furniture, please let me know. I'm always trying to help out in so many different ways. There's so many different things. Shoes, children, somebody donated some baby clothing, and it was well needed. Men's clothing. So believe me, right now, God has been having me minister to a lot of men.
Yeah.
So please don't think that this is just a woman thing.
That's
we love
right.
the men to, of course, be blessed as well.
That is
So if you want to come that way, you're more than welcome to call our office line, which is 504-301-1096. Again, that's 504-301-1096. And if we do not answer, please leave a detailed message. We always get back to all of our calls. We'll touch bases to make an appointment for us to meet at a good time, to drop off donations, to learn more on how you could help, how if you want to even volunteer. Just to make sure just for those that might still be a little leery with that and donating, let me just let you know, I have proof and everything else. As years went on, to make sure I could still pay, those that were on payroll and continue to support these individuals, the women that live there, and make sure school supplies and uniforms and everything else for their children and different things. I had sold my car, then later put a line of credit on the other car. Later after that, started trying to find other things that I could sell that was not important to me. But the hardest thing that I gave up, because that's all I ever wanted, was a home. I had grown up, in a dysfunctional home and homeless and in and out of foster homes and become an ward of the court, and had experienced much molestation and rape, living in different places and staying with different people. And most of that was because I didn't have my own home. Yes. So all I told God that I wanted for myself, that I wanted for me, was my own house. And my house was beautiful, and it was mine. And I was proud of it. But the last thing that I had to surrender, for those that might have to give up something for the ministry, I gave up my home, because I still felt that it wasn't time to stop the ministry. And so I sold my house to buy the hall, the event hall, to make greater opportunities for our ladies, for them to cater and to clean and to do linen and wash linen and iron and just different jobs, and give them various skills. And we learned how to cut grass, and we were doing yards, and we were cleaning smaller halls, and homes, and whatever else we could do. Yes. And just trying our best to keep it moving. So that hall, just want you to know, there has been some major sweat equity put into there. And the down payment was through my home.
Oh, wow.
So I'm actually living in the ministry house right now, and helping to assist with another young lady make it through college, that she's pursuing going into medical school and to becoming a doctor, who's had a challenging childhood herself. And so definitely, I tell you, whatever you do, please know that you are sowing seed into good ground.
Good ground it is, absolutely. From tragedy to triumph. We're tuned into Real Talk with Mary J, listening to the phenomenal story of Riva LaVoyd. I want you all to go to her page, follow, and see how you can follow her and connect with her on her website to contribute to this great cause, Manifested Miracles. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Don't you go anywhere. There's more to come. Wow, what an amazing.
Listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255, the New Orleans Talk Network.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson. And can you believe that it has been 1 year since Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions hit your airwaves? We have interviewed authors, entrepreneurs, playwrights, musicians, and everyone in between, all to bring you the best in literary conversation. And we plan to do it again this year, but only better. So join us right here in the Literary Lounge each Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the New Orleans Talk Network. See you there.
We're back. Talk What You Know returns on Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. We got a brand new co-host by the name of Bob B. And hey, that's me. Also, we got some new features. We're going to be giving away, have a weekly raffle of prizes. There are multiple ways for you to win, and there's a bevy of prizes. So we need you to come on back, join us on Wednesday mornings at 8 o'clock for Talk What You Know on the New Orleans Talk Network.
Now New Orleans has a choice. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app for your mobile device or listen at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com.
Happy Merry Mondays. It's your girl, Mary J. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary J on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary J at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned into New Orleans Talk Network.
With Mary J, all the way from NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. I am your host, Mary J. We're talking about from tragedy to triumph, and we have this great anointed vessel sharing with us on today, Riva Lavoie, that is sharing her amazing story. I mean, what champion you are. To who does that? You know, when we talk about living the life of Christ, a lot of us talk about that life, but we're not actually being that disciple in the earth realm. We're not actually living it here on earth. But for you to have gone through as much as you've gone through, Riva, to deal with all of the battle of your childhood and the brokenness of your past, and then to get hit by a car in your wheelchair, and the proceeds of that and the compensation of that, rather, you say to God, whenever I get this, I'm going to give back to support other women and to help as many women as I can. And then, you know, people say that because you hear people say, oh, when I hit the lottery, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But then when they get their money, it's like, oh, they have all these other things that they have to do with it. But you stay fast to that commitment. You gave sacrificially out of yourself, and you did exactly what you told God that you would do. So you got the haul, you sold your house after wanting the house for so many years and going from home to home and not having a home. You gave up your own home to get a haul to help so many other women. That's such a beautiful thing that you're doing. I mean, and I want as many people as possible that will hear your story, that will donate to you. Will you tell them your website again for those who probably were not on before the commercial break? Let them know how they can reach you and give them that information.
Sure, not a problem. The website is manifestedmiracles.com. Again, that's manifested, past tense, ED, and miracles with the S on the end.com. Manifestedmiracles.com.
Yes, awesome story. So, Riva, now look, I've seen you use your wheelchair. You talk about all of the challenges that you've had, everything that you've gone through, and breaking your leg as well, you know. But this girl here uses her wheelchair as a forklift. I wish that my producers would be able to get that clip up, because I was trying to get it up to save it so we can air it right here on the air. You know, that clip of you using your wheelchair as a forklift, picking up all of those chairs stacked high, and even with your arms, the strength of your arm, and just pushing those chairs up there. That is so awesome that you just continue to do by any means necessary. You make sure that you're going to beat the devil and give him a black eye, every time, huh?
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
and keep on doing it.
Yes. I was actually just in another car accident last week.
I saw that.
Yeah, and still a little bit of neck pain and shoulder pain, muscle pain. I have learned that just really trying your best to work your muscles, pushing your muscles. I could have been eligible for a powered wheelchair a long time ago. They're like, why don't you get a powered chair? I don't want to be as big as a house. I don't want to get chubby. I'm already starting to get a little chubby from an older age. But also too, I want to stay energetic. I want to stay energized. I don't want to, because I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 4 years ago. Yes, after 11 car accidents to date and 11 surgeries all over my body. You would think that was enough, but God knows what's best for us. And I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Overall, it is dormant, and I am grateful to God. I do have some side effects. The main thing is bad muscle spasms. So we've had to have surgeries to kind of help with that, and I have a metal box, a pump that sends medicine to my spine constantly to kind of help control those painful muscle spasms. So to make sure I can take care of myself, because I'm still single, I don't have nobody helping me, I don't have a husband putting me in the bed, to make sure I can still get in the car, make sure I could, get my wheelchair in and out and fly here to get here to this wonderful, amazing Real Talk TV show. And being able to get myself in the bed and in the bathtub. I need to be using my wheelchair as a forklift. The guys, they don't mind doing it, but I need that. They let me do my part, and they do theirs. They know, like, those chairs are mine, and I'm going to stack them high, and I try to stack them where I raise them up, keep that motion going, and continuing to keep my energy and my strength. And really, it was never the intent when I first started doing it. It really was all about exercise. But now I like it because now people see me do it, and they say what you say. When you were in the wheelchair yourself, more and more people, when they're at these events, they're shaking their head and they're saying, I was feeling bad for myself, or I was feeling sorry for myself. And you are amazing.
You are.
And then the second reason why I do it is I want to make a commitment to myself that even though I'm a business owner, in a sense, as people say, you the boss, and da-da-da-da-da, and you tell whatever needs to be done, whether it be us doing work on the buildings and renovations or whatever. But I feel like I need to get involved. Yes. I don't believe that you should just be pointing a finger, and I don't think you should put anybody down because they need me, but I also need them. I can't do this by myself. So I feel like I should be sweeping. I should be trying my best to wipe down and clean up right along with them. And just keep that in mind. When you decide you want to have your own business, you got to put in that sweat equity. It means so much more. It really does. It makes you put more pride into it. But don't just point the finger and think, okay, now I'm a boss. A true boss, a true leader is being willing to humble yourself, and you work hard too. You're willing to clean toilets. Minister Alliance, we wasn't allowed to go preach and all these different things until we were willing to do bathroom duty and, go evangelize outside and sweat and everything else. And I loved it all. I loved it all. You can't just have the success. You have to be behind the scenes and praying for people and loving on people and working so hard.
Wonderful. Your story is phenomenal, from tragedy to triumph. If you're thinking that you've been through something and you want to sit in the corner and feel sorry for yourself and gain all of those pounds like I did, I went from the wheelchair, the crutches, to the boot, to the brace, and I saw this amazing woman of God story, just doing it all. I mean, in the wheelchair, rolling, stacking chairs, lifting chairs, and just doing some amazing things. You've had your degrees, your business, helping empower other women, giving to the homeless, giving jobs to the community, and just equipping others to just be, steadfast and unmovable. You're unshakable, and I thank God for sending you my way and having you on Real Talk Mary J today. So listen, Riva, thank you so much for coming on. The show went by so fast, we're out of time. I want to get these two names for this raffle for Alexander Williams. Alexander Williams, he is running for Mr. Battalion, and he has a raffle. You guys, the third place for the New Orleans St. Memory Farm cushion was for Beatrice Thomas. Beatrice Thomas, number 33, ticket number 33. Riva pulled that number, and we have two more. This is for our second place winner. This is a rolling duffel bag. Rolling duffel bag. Let me shake it up some more.
Okay, let's see here. And this one is number 87, ticket number 87 for Mr. Patrick.
Mr. Patrick. Okay, Patrick, number 87, you won the rolling duffel bag. And then for the winner, first place, listen to this, you guys. This is amazing. New Orleans Saints autographed football with a bag case. So you get an autographed New Orleans Saints football with the bag case for the first place winner prize.
All right. And for first prize, ticket number 236, Sharon Sante. Did I say that properly?
Yes, yes. Ticket number 236, Sharon Sante. Sante or Sante? Okay. Yes. Sharon, you are the winner of this autograph Saints football with the case. So I had a happy Merry Monday. Did you have a happy Merry Monday?
Did.
Thank you for coming on to share with us from tragedy to triumph, you guys, with Riva Lavoie.